Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is me, Chariot Hester of Chariot's Chair, coming to you this morning with a quick motivational moment about what is your life message. So as you all know, Prince passed away this past week, and everybody's posting, different stories about Prince and about what he meant to them and what he meant to the world and how losing Prince from this world, what is this world missing because Prince is gone. And so I want to encourage you today to think about what is your life message? What is the message that God has given you to share with the world? What is the meaning of your life? What is it that the different things that you're going to and how you respond and how you think, what did God create you for? And how does that creation spread its message to the world? And so I want to think about Abraham and him sacrificing Isaac. And that story is extra personal to me because you think about it. God has given you something. And this is something that God has created, and you have to give it back. And God has told him that he had to sacrifice his own son. So imagine his emotions that he went through as he's getting ready to sacrifice his son. And he's like, God, but you gave this to me. God, I don't understand. God, I want this. God, this is the thing that I want. This is the thing that I had asked you for, and you gave it to me. And now that you want it back. But remember, that was his legacy to the world, that nothing else shall come before God, that nothing else in his life that should he love so much that if God asked for it back, he could not give it to him. And I think that is especially a prime example in this situation is because guess what? Your life belongs to God, and we are made in God's image, and that we are basically God's image on this earth, that we are God's workers on this earth. And so the thing that we must love above anything else in our life is God. And so how do you get to the message that God is trying to get to you to understand that this is your life message? How do we get to the fact of living for him each and every day? We have to know him for ourselves. We have to allow God to speak for himself in our lives. And granted, yes, there are preachers and there are teachers and there are friends and there's everyone with all this great source of wisdom. But guess what? God has to be the primary source of wisdom in your life. And that other people should confirm something to you, or they should actually merely just guide you back into the right direction of getting yourself back to God. But they should not be your primary source of wisdom. There's nothing in this life that you should love so much that you love it above God. There's nothing that you should love in this life so much that God should say, when God says it's time to give it back or release it back to him, that you should not be able to give that back to God. And so realize that once he got ready to sacrifice Isaac and he made the decision, okay, God, I'm going to live for you. Okay, God, I'm going to do what it is that you asked me to do. He never even had to sacrifice his child. He didn't. Because God said, this is just a test. This is just what I want you to know. What do you love above me? And so a lot of the things that we go through in life are God's test to say, do you love that car more than me? Do you love that person more than me? Do you love that job more than me? Do you love that sport more than me? Do you love that TV more than me? Do you love the music more than me? Because anytime that we put things before God, he is going to take them away. Why? Because you have a message to live. You have a legacy to live. You have something that God placed you on this earth specifically for. And the more that you place things in front of God and his direct connection to your life, the more he is going to take things from you. Until you get the picture, until you understand that God has more for you and you have a legacy to live and you have a message for the world that you were here. You were here. Do you know how many books are in graves? Unwritten books are in graves. Do you know how many songs are in graves? Do you know how many things, if you went to the cemetery, how many people had things that they wanted to do that they never got a chance to do because they allowed something to stop them? And I'm just a living proof that guess what? I'm not going to be one of them. I'm not going to be one of those people that doesn't accomplish what God has me to accomplish. And yes, I may have to give up this or that in the meantime, but I'm trusting God that guess what? As long as I get my relationship with you in check, you're going to give it all back. Look at Job. Job lost it all. And we complain about the little things that we lose. He lost his whole family. But guess what? He continued to praise God. He continued to say, God, I thank you. I thank you that even in the midst of this loss, you continue to be what it is, all that I need in my life. Because we have this thing that we say, oh, God is everything I need. God is all I need. But guess what? You never know that God is all you need until God is what you have. So what is your life message? We talk about Job. We talk about all these different Bible characters all the time. But who do we talk about on earth like that? We talk about the greats and about the things that they left behind, but we never turn the camera to ourselves. We never turn the light to ourselves and say, okay, God, what is my life message? What am I meant to do? What is it? What image am I meant to leave on this earth that when you close my eyes and you draw me back home, you call me back home to you, what is the world going to get from me being here? Thank you for having a seat in Chariot's chair.